guys, what's up? My name is Pastor Rob. Welcome to GRP Weekend Update. I have some great guests here today. I have Pastor Ashley Jones over young adults. I have Hector Guldier. Hector, you're gonna have to help me later with that. And we have Pastor Dusty from our children's ministry. Guys, it's a lineup. It's gonna be awesome. We have some great information for you. Get ready. Pastor Ashley, I want to start with you. Tell me about yourself. How did you meet your husband?
Well, Jordan and I met at Gateway. We were both serving in Gateway Kids at the time. I was on staff at the Grand Prairie campus and he was working at the South Lake campus. And we were both asked to go to Dry Gulch Camp with Gateway. We used to take like 500 kids to Dry Gulch Camp every year. So we were both adult sponsors for that, and we met and started dating after that. So here's your plug to serve, even if it's not in Gateway Kids, somewhere, because you just might meet your spouse. We've been married for almost 2 years. We actually just moved to Arlington. We moved into our first house, which is really exciting.
So good. Can you tell me a very powerful moment or encounter with the Lord?
So this is a really hard question because I feel like I've had obviously a lot of powerful moments with God, but one that really sticks out to me is a time that he healed me physically and emotionally. I was in, we used to do freedom training for people all over the world would come to Gateway to get trained on how to do freedom ministry. And I was attending and I got healed. The Lord really set me free from some anxiety and fear that I was living with and didn't even realize was there. And in turn, I had been dealing with a disease called ulcerative colitis, which is ulcers in your digestive system. And I had been dealing with that for about 3-4 years at the time. And the Lord miraculously healed me as he kind of uncovered some anxiety and revealed that I had literally been worrying myself sick. He healed me in that moment. And then a couple of weeks later, I was in worship at a young adult service and I felt him say, hey, I want you to go off all of your medication. I know you believed that I healed you, and so I want you to take an act of faith and go off that medication that you've been relying on for the past couple of years. And so I did, and that was in July of 2016, and I have not been on medication.
Wow, that is such an amazing testimony of God's healing. So as the young adult pastor, what is young adults doing in this season?
Young adults right now, obviously we are meeting online. Normally our gatherings are on Tuesday nights. And so we are still gathering together on Tuesday nights online. We have an online experience on YouTube at 7 p.m. So we'd love for you to join on YouTube, come hang out with us. We're in the chat talking. And then afterwards we've been having Zoom hangouts. Where we kind of get on Zoom and hang out together, break up into some smaller groups and have some discussion time, which has been really, really great. We do still have small groups though that are meeting online. We would love for you to be a part of our small groups that are meeting online. We've got co-ed ones, we've got men and women's small groups that are also young adults. So we would love for you guys to get involved in that way. And I'm also open to meeting with any young adults that want to.
Okay, we're gonna go to students with Hector. Hector, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hello everybody, and specifically Rob, because we're hanging out virtually, having a little virtual coffee, okay? Cheers to you, my friend. If you guys don't know me, my name is Hector Alejandro Guerrero. Can you roll your R's? Because if you can't, I have a Rosetta class online that I will gladly give you a discount to, and you can pay me on a bi-monthly basis straight to my direct deposit. We'll worry about that a little bit later, okay? I am from Dallas, Texas. I have lived here my entire life, and I have not been that adventurous, but my wife is from Alaska, has lived all over the world, and somehow she got married to me. And all I gotta say is that it's a miracle from Jesus. I love you, Lord, for blessing me with an amazing wife. I'm just saying, I count my blessings, people, and that one is infinite.
Hector, tell me your Gateway story. How did you get connected with Gateway?
I have been able to be a part, I think, since I was 17. I was a senior in high school. I'm 22 now, about to turn 23. And I have been rolling with these guys for a little over 5 years. It has been absolutely amazing. I volunteered with students, then I began to work in facilities just for a good season. And now, since last year, I became full-time with the Gateway Students Grand Prairie team. And I'm telling you, it has been an absolute amazing blessing to the Guerrero family.
What's happening right now in students ministry?
Some of the things that we've been doing to bless our students with this crazy pandemic going on and everything flipping upside down, and we're having to learn the curve and learn to adjust and pivot. What we have been doing is tackling the online experience. We have been getting virtually ready. We got the MySpace page open. We got AOL, Bing, Facebook, YouTube, whatever we can do, we're trying to get on there, okay? We're trying to do everything we can to reach our students through videos, through devotionals, through Zoom meetings, whatever we can do. That is what we're doing all online. And one of the new initiatives that we're doing right now is for our graduating seniors. We all know this is weird. They're not graduating the normal way that they would graduate. It's just very odd that it has to be so delayed into the summer for them to get graduating. And we wanted to bless them. We partnered with all of our pastors in our central team. They hooked us up with Bibles that we can bless them with. We have handwritten letters from our group leaders at Grand Prairie. We have little chips that they love, their favorite snack. We called them all. We got their info, and we even created a specific, unique video for each individual student, stating their name, praying over them, and even prophetically speaking into their life and in the season as they transition. So we're dropping off senior bags for them with the whole hookup to let them know that we simply love them. And that's pretty much the big initiative we're doing right now, and still doing everything we can to reach them virtually.
Hector, that's so good. We are adapting to what's going on, and we are consistently pursuing people. I'm so proud of the students department, how you guys are really reaching out and keeping that connection so real and in so many ways. So great job, guys. Let's transition now to our children's pastor, Pastor Dusty. Pastor Dusty, so glad to have you here. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my wife, Lisa, and I, we have been married, September the 22nd, 2012. So we are approaching our 8-year anniversary. Wow, which reminds me, she is pretty awesome, because that means that she has had to deal with me over 67,000 hours, if you do the math. That girl, she deserves some kind of an award. Lisa and I, we're a blended family, and so together we have 4 children. We have 2 daughters, Stacy and Miracle. They are 33 and 23, and we have 2 sons, Chris and Tanner, who are 30 and 20.
Pastor Dusty, I'm just wondering, I think a lot of people would benefit from hearing a little bit of your testimony. Do you mind sharing how you came to know the Lord and a little bit of your story?
Yeah, I am so glad. I was hoping that you would ask me this, because you know how much I love to share my salvation story. Everyone has a personal salvation story that is so important to them. Mine is a little bit different than your average bear. My salvation story does not take place at like a kids camp. I didn't get saved at a kids camp. I didn't even get saved in the 4 walls of a church building. My salvation story takes place in a county jail. You see, when I was 18 or 19 years old, I got involved in the nightclub industry. I began working in bars, like just doing security at the very beginning. Later, I became a DJ. I DJed for almost half of my life, 22, 23 years of DJing. But when I was 25 years old, I got the opportunity to buy my first nightclub. And really, for me, for about 15 years consecutively, life was just a party. That's all I did, was party all the time. And unfortunately, in the midst of those 15 years, I accumulated 4 DWIs. And so finally, I went to court, and a judge said enough is enough. And he sentenced me with 10 years in prison for a felony DWI. Guys, I remember going back to my jail cell that day, and to me, it was the end of the world. I had completely hit rock bottom. Didn't know what to do, didn't know where to turn, and no amount of money could get me out of the problem that I was in. So I think in a selfish kind of way, I remember hitting my knees in that jail cell and just crying out to God. Now, I didn't grow up in a church, in a family that went to church a lot. You know, we'd go once in a while to Easter or Christmas services. But I do remember this saying that God can do anything. I remember that God can do anything. So I wanted to challenge him in that area. So I cried out to God and I said, God, if you really are as big as you say you are and you really can do anything, then you can make this prison sentence go away. Again, I know that's a selfish prayer. But luckily for you and I, we serve a God who he is not overwhelmed with our selfishness. He can take all that we have. And so, long story short, over the course of about a week, I had several conversations with God. The judge called me back into his chambers 2 or 3 different times, each time reducing my prison sentence. So when it was all said and done, guys, I ended up only having to do about 14 months in jail. Most people would say it was the worst year of my life, but I believe just the opposite. I believe it was the best year of my life because all I had to do that year, there's not a lot to do in prison. So all I did that year was I read the Word of God. I read the Bible. I studied it. I read everything I could get my hands on. In that season, I learned how to talk to God, how to pray. Most importantly, I learned how to hear God's voice. And it was a foundation for me.
That's so cool. Pastor Dusty, what is happening right now in children's ministry?
So what we're doing in kids ministry is kind of like all the other ministries. In this new season, we have had to try to expand our thinking and find new ways of doing church for kids. We just didn't want to do nothing. We didn't want them to miss out. And so what we have done is we have done the virtual thing like we're doing here today. And so every weekend we have what is called Gateway Kids Weekend Experience. We have 4 separate videos, 4 different sermons that we teach the kids on the weekends, and they range from babies all the way up to 6th grade. And what we've done that's been really cool is we asked them to get involved. We asked them to hashtag us different videos and pictures of themselves, maybe like have mom and dad video them, like doing worship in front of the TV on the weekend, maybe sitting and watching the message with their brothers and their sisters. And we have got just a ton of those videos and pics back over the last few weeks, and it has been just a blessing. I think what we've really seen in kids ministry in this season is the children have really learned that God does not just dwell in the 4 walls of a church, that God is with them no matter where they go, no matter what's going on, no matter what the world throws at us, that God is in it with them.
That's amazing and so cool to hear all these stories. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you to all my guests. If you have any questions and want to know more information, feel free to reach out to us. And if you have any needs right now, we want to be there for you. Please text the word CONNECT to the number 71010, 71010, okay? We love you guys and can't wait to see you next week. Bye.